Okay, this is Joshua's page, Exodus 2025. And some of you said you couldn't find it, so I wanted to show you what he said about the Antichrist, okay? Okay, I'm just going to let it play without the sound on it. So basically, he's hinting at that area is Saudi Arabia and that is the ruler that will come from there. Now, if you go and look and see like who in that country is actually kind of ruling it right now, well, that would be Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince. And now if we go look at scripture, it tells us that there's a prince who is to come, right? And that is referring to the Antichrist. So it may not be that it's just a particular word that God would choose for that. A lot of the times when he chooses words, he's very particular about the word. And he's also very literal. A lot of times people don't take him literally enough. And if you know anything about Chuck Missler's work, he said often when he was teaching that he wishes that he had taken the scriptures more literally than he did. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not sometimes symbols or figurative language or idioms or whatever, but a lot of times God is using a very literal term of a prince, okay? So those of you that are still a little on the fence, maybe in some of that unbelief, hopefully we might see the Antichrist come on the scene before we leave, hopefully. But there's definitely this kind of thing in Scripture where God doesn't always have to do the very next thing that's in that sentence, okay? So if you think about it, and this is probably the easiest way to remember. Remember in The Chosen, if you guys watch The Chosen, at some point Jesus gets up in his hometown, he reads the scroll, I think it was Isaiah, and he gets to the part where he's like saying, well, listen, on this day, the Messiah is with you. Like I'm announcing that I'm him. And he pauses and he doesn't read the rest of it where it's talking about like coming to judge the earth and, the wrath's going to be poured out and all that kind of stuff. I'll put it in the description box what the verse is so you can know what I'm talking about. But so God gave like a pause there. So he didn't come and judge the earth right after Jesus came to the earth. It didn't happen that way. And that was some of the confusion, is that they thought he was going to become king and then everything was going to go, to something good and peaceful, and that God was going to be the ruler again. And it didn't happen that way. So we don't know for a fact that the Antichrist is going to be revealed because it says, and then. So there's a little like, and then. It could be, and then after we're gone in the rapture. You know what I'm saying? The day is coming, and then the Antichrist is going to be revealed. So we have to look at it very carefully. We cannot put God in a box because sometimes he does things in different ways than people think he's going to do it. But now if he does come on the scene, and then Joshua here is saying it's coming from this area, he was shown in a vision, then that will be another confirmation for you that he is God's man and that he's the real prophet, right? How would he know that otherwise if God didn't tell him? So just think about that. I'll put the verse in the description so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll put the one about Jesus and I'll put the one about the Antichrist too, okay? All right. Y'all stay posted.